introduce yourself and what you do.
I am Honorable Peter Lokeris, Minister of State for Primary Education. I am in charge of this sector right from pre-primary and primary and the PTCs of this country. We are aiming at educating all the children of Uganda so that we are able to cope up with the present challenges of the world, because only it is an educated society that is able to cope up with the new challenges in the new era of technology. In the first place, when education was introduced in Karamoja, the government, then the colonial government, didn't have its own schools. Education was introduced by missionaries. But along when these schools were being introduced by missionaries, also the government then was introducing new ideas of paying taxes, in the 40s of conscripting our Karamoja by force to the armed forces to fight during the Second World War. And when conscription was taking place, because it was forceful, the people who were captured to come and join, be conscripted, were being listed, and they were asking their names. What is your name? And they were using something like a dry wood, which they called a pen. And the people misunderstood that is that thing which was writing the names, which was bringing evil to Karamoja. Even with taxes, they began registering people to know their names so that they could pay taxes. Then the animals were being confiscated to sell so as to pay the poll tax of that time. The people, especially in the G area, now Kotido, misunderstood the whole thing and condemned the pen. And he organized a ceremony in order to cast the pen and buried it in the anitil, so that this pen does not prevail for writing their names, who would be taken away to go and fight, and they would not be seen again. And at the same time, introducing a new culture of taking the animals to pay their another thing called poll tax, which used not to be there. So this thing was really resented, especially the pen, because of its use to write on a white paper, and the name could be read. So that's how it came about. But of course, the missionaries used other methods to entice children to come to school, because the Karamoja saw no reason why people should leave their animals, because they are cattle keepers. Taking away the boys meant that the cows be left unattended to, or attended to by old people. And this was very, very bad indeed. And also they were thinking these children would go away and escape and go away with those new arrivals who had come to the area. So the whole thing was really condemned. But then, with the wisdom of the missionaries, they were using so many things to entice the Karamoja children to come to school. They would give them food, they were giving them clothes and so on. But coming to school was really condemned at that time. Even our time when we came to school, we had to escape from the villages and came to school without the consent of our parents. At the times they would come back trying to intercept you if they found you alone, beat you up, and you go back to school. But things are changing at the moment. That some Karamoja have had jobs, and when they go back home, they take presents to their parents, they take money, and of course the drought of the area also has changed lives of Karamoja and the insecurity in the area. Some people have lost their animals. They have lost their animals. Now they are, in fact, poor because of poverty. They think that if the children went elsewhere, they would even be safe because of fighting, you lose children and so on. Initially, they didn't want to bring girls because the first girls who went to town, not real to school, roaming in town, got men whom they didn't approve, and they started calling them allots. That if you went to town and allow your girl to go to town, will just become an allot. But that's not the case now. The girls then who went to school have studied, and they have married properly. Some of us are married to educated girls from Karamoja, and they take back whatever we give them to their homes. Some are working, some are what. Things have changed, and there is now a rush for people to go to school. So even the people of Kotido, the G, who had misunderstood the concept of the pen, some time back went back and asked the pen from where they buried it. And now they have embraced education very seriously. Thanks to the UP program, which has allowed the children to go in free of charge. The children, the influx is large. There is nobody who is preventing now even the girls from going to school, because the examples are very good. They now work, they are properly married. The misconception that they could be alots is gone, because those who become alots, in fact, were not even educated. They were just condemned because they went to town and they didn't do their job. So they could not know whether education and educated people would stay in town. So that's how Karamoja had been. But now, the girls have come. Recently, I was in a Kacheri, in the school Kacheri. The girls' enrollment was higher than that of boys.